In this video, we'll be looking at how we can correct errors. Okay, so we'll be looking at how we can correct errors when it comes to our opening balances or the transactions that are type JD and JC, and how we can correct or edit transactions when it comes to all the rest of the transactions, which are our cash receipts, so CR, cash payments, CP, bank receipts, BR, and bank payments, BP. Those transactions we can correct in a different way. Okay, so let's look at our transactions menu and all the transactions that we have in there. Transactions 1 through 14 is where our JD and JC transactions are. These are our opening balances. So we'll be looking at how we can correct those first. We'll take as an example transaction 5, which is an opening balance on the office equipment. So this is an opening balance, and imagine that the opening balance shouldn't have been posted on the debit side, but instead should have been on the credit side. So how are we going to fix this issue? Or the amount, even if the amount wasn't correct? We'll go into our nominal codes menu or into our general ledger. We'll double click on the account that we like to fix to open the nominal record, and then we'll open this account from the first of the month because it's an opening balance. And then to zero this account, we'll post the same amount that we have on the debit side on the credit side. And once we hit enter or save, you will see that the amount in the opening balance is gone. If you would like to post now the transaction on the credit side, you can just simply post 15,500 onto the credit side, click save, and then that will fix the issue that you've had in the first place. But because this is an asset account and it needs to be on the debit side, we'll just put it back where it's supposed to be. As you can see in our transactions menu, we've got the amendment that we've just made. It's reflected into our transactions, into our audit trail. Okay. But what happens if you would like to correct a transaction that is not a JD or a JC? Well, you simply just highlight that transaction and you have two choices. The first one is just completely delete the transaction, which you can just do by highlighting the transaction, clicking on delete, confirm that you would like to delete this, and then click on delete again. This will remove the transaction completely, meaning that it's not going to affect your account anymore. The transaction will still be there, but it's not going to affect your accounts, and it's going to be highlighted in red. But there's another option which is not as extreme. So you don't really have to delete. You can edit instead. So if you highlight the transaction, click on edit. In this menu, in this window, you can edit the following things. You can move the transaction from the, as you can see, the first one, from the cash account, which is 1230, the nominal code. You can move it to your bank account or to any other account in that matter. You can change the reference, the description, the date for this transaction you can change as well. If you would like to change the amounts, you can click on the edit button to open another window that will allow you to change the amounts. Okay, so in this window, we can see now that we can change the nominal code for this transaction. So let's say if we posted a transaction the wrong nominal code, then we can change the nominal code here. We can change again the detail of the transaction and also the net, the tax, and the tax code of the transaction. Once we have completed our little changes here, we can click close and then save. And once we save the changes, the transaction will be amended. So these are your choices when it comes to corrections. I'll show you how to back up really quickly. So if you go to File and then you click on Backup, and this window that's going to ask you to confirm if you want to continue will appear. You'll click on Yes. And then it's going to ask you if you want to check up your data before you back up. You'll click on No. In this window, name the company appropriately. So you can just leave the name of the company and then the date that you last worked on this company. And then click on Browse to save the file in your desired location, and then you click on OK. Your backup has been successful. You can now close the program.